Hiya, what's up? To celebrate the release of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate on the Nintendo Switch, I will be making Samus Aran from the Metroid series. This is a project I've been desperately wanting to start for ages now, and now I finally have a reason to start making her. Samus is an intergalactic bounty hunter and one of the original 12 fighters in the original Smash Bros. On the Nintendo 64. Samus gains a lot of her popularity through the Smash Bros. Series, and I discovered her when I bought my first Smash Bros. Game. Zero Suit Samus has been my main in Smash Bros. 4 for ages now, and I even have her amiibo figurine, which I like to train in the game. I tried to get into the Metroid series, but at the time of recording this, the only game I have is Metroid Prime 3, and I haven't really played it yet. When I first started this project, I had intended to only make Samus in a Zero Suit because I thought it would be easy to make, but that'll soon change as I really wanted to make her awesome armour. Unfortunately, due to kind of serious exams going on when I was making this doll, I only had time to finish Zero Suit Samus in time, but stay tuned for part 2 hopefully. Samus has had many armourless outfits before the introduction of the Zero Suit, like the original Justin Bailey outfit, the casual clothes from Metroid Fusion and Zero Mission, the leotard from Super Metroid, I could go on. I settled on the Zero Suit as it's more well known, but I will probably make her other outfits eventually because I think they're kind of cool. Samus is actually quite tall and rather muscular, so the obvious choice for a character like her would be a DC Superhero Girl doll as they are taller and more muscular than Monster or Ever After High dolls. I can't wait to get started. I love DC Superhero Girl dolls! I was waiting for the base doll to arrive in the mail when I filmed this part, so I started on her tight bodysuit. I drew around a DC Superhero Girl doll to create a simple pattern and made the arms separately. The fabric is a thin, stretchy blue fabric, similar to what's used for swimsuits. I cut out 2 of the body pieces and cut the arm pieces on the fold to reduce seams. I'm going to start sewing them together at the shoulder seam on both sides, with a small 1/2 centimetre seam allowance. If you're using a sewing machine like me, make sure to switch your machine needle to a stretchy fabric needle, so your stitches actually stay in place. Pin the sleeves thoroughly and carefully sew them. You should get this shape. Fold it in half and pin around one side and sew that too. Repeat for the other side. I cut a slit up the back of the suit as I do want the suit to be removable, as I mentioned earlier that I wanted to make her other outfit. Turn it inside out and do a test fitting on the doll. My base doll still hadn't arrived, so my old Zelda doll volunteered to model it. It should be very tight fitting, but loose enough to be removable, but you don't need to worry about that if you plan for it to be permanent. Samus' Zero Suit has many panels which I thought about sewing on with a different fabric, but that just doesn't work on a tiny scale like this. A much more suitable alternative would be to paint it on. The fabric would still have to stretch if you wanted it to be removable, so I mixed my dark blue paint with some liquid latex. And please make sure not to include this latex if you're allergic. I find latex really wrecks brushes, so use cheap ones and try your best to get the right shapes. Mine aren't quite perfect, but they're fine. On an important note, make sure to cover the doll underneath so the paint doesn't stain the plastic. I covered her in tape underneath. Once you've painted the largest panels, hang her up in a place to dry that will traumatise your other dolls. Once she's dry, it's time to paint the final lines on her suit. These are the lines at the front and the back, and the loops on her shoulders. This actually hides the shoulder seams, a huge relief for me as the Zero suit actually has no seams at all. And anything to hide the mandatory ones on my doll are great. Looks great, but we aren't done yet. The last details are some symbols on the chest and back, which I am going to paint with my 2 different colours of pink pearl paint. References are really helpful, so if you have a Zero Suit Samus amiibo like I do, it really helps. Finally, the suit is done. The doll has finally arrived and I chose Poison Ivy. I picked her as I think she's the palest out of all the dolls, and Samus is quite pale. I love Ivy's gorgeous hair, but sadly it must go as Samus is blonde. Bind it together and cut the hair as close to the head as possible. Carefully remove the head and scrape along the inside with pliers or tweezers. However, if the glue is too stiff, boil some water, dunk the head in it for a few minutes to soften the glue. As usual, be careful with the hot water as you can burn yourself if you're not careful. Now her head is nice and clean, we're going to start on the wig. I'm not going to go into too much detail on this, as Mozekyto has a great doll wig tutorial series on her channel. In case you're interested though, I followed both ponytail wigs that she's made for Samus's iconic ponytail hairstyle. The hair is made from brushed acrylic wool, and it made me laugh that the blonde wool I used was premium Aran, as in Samus Aran. Quite fitting, I know. This was my first time making a ponytail wig, so as expected, a few things didn't go as expected, but ended up fine in the end. I'm going to wait until after I've repainted her to cut her fringe, so let's just pop the wig off and get started. I use my trusty acetone to remove the factory paint with cotton buds. Her face sculpt's going to make this difficult. If I'm honest, her facial structure and Samus's don't quite match, but I'll try anyway. Sharpen those pencils and get started on the basic line work. I do this in light brown in case I make a mistake and I want to easily erase it. Please forgive me for what it looks like right now. I promise I'll correct it later. I dust on pale browns and pinks to tone her lips as well as dark browns on her upper eyelids. I don't know if Samus wears eyeshadow or her eyes are just kinda sunken, but I'm pretty sure that's what she's had in her appearance since Other M back in 2010. I also added the beauty mark on her chin, which she's also had since that game. It was at this point where I decided to give her a side glancing expression, similar to her Smash 4 artwork. I toned her eyes blue with blue watercolours. My white watercolour pencils weren't really working for me, so I quickly switched to white acrylic paint to brighten the whites of her eyes. I also used this as an opportunity to change the direction of her eyes back to the front, as I felt the side glance looked too friendly or seductive, nothing like Samus at all. Samus's face has changed a lot throughout her games, from the first render in Smash Bros. Melee, to the weird looking one from Prime 2, to the really realistic one from Other M, and my personal favourite, the one from Smash 4. On closer inspection of my picture, I noticed that Samus's eyes are in fact green, so I painted them green to match. After I'd finished up and painted the pupils, I realised my mistake. I found out that in Metroid Other M, Samus's eyes are green, but in every other game she's in, they're blue. As I'm basing my Zero Suit Samus doll on the one from Smash Bros. 4 and Smash Bros. Ultimate, I had to change them. I fixed them off camera, of course. Just reattach her head to the body and put the wig on. Using some water, I style the fringe and cut it a bit shorter. I've seen people use eyebrow razors to do this, but my X-Acto knife works just fine if you're careful. This is the moment I got really excited because now she actually looks more like Samus. Onto her shoes. Zero Suit Samus has two shoe designs, the first being simple flats and the second being the heeled jet boots. I'm making the jet boots because I think they look cooler. I know Samus really shouldn't have heels, but you know, they look cool. I made a shoe off camera to figure out what on earth I was doing, and I'm just going to show you how I made the other one. I used Walkercolours shoe tutorial to make a paper mache cast of her foot, and then I covered it with the same fabric as her Zero Suit. Because these shoes have heels, I'm piercing through the cast with a pin and coating it with hot glue just to make it more stable. I cut some pieces from craft foam to use as the side panels at the top, and I just hot glue them to the shoe. For the thin strips along the front, I used some 3D paint. This is actually the same stuff that I used for the details on her Zero Suit. I know it's the wrong colour, obviously we'll paint it later, but if you do have black, then just use that. I only just had pink at the time. I also used the 3D paint to build up the sole area at the bottom. Using my favourite epoxy sculpt clay, I build the sole and heels even further and add more detail like the curvy pattern on each side. Just take your time as this is rather difficult. My clay wasn't sticking too well to the foam part, so I did the last couple details with my 3D paint. Now the shapes are alright, I'm going to prime it all in black. I find painting metallic pieces in black or brown first sets a really good base, and the colour just looks better in most cases. So you have to use less paint to get the colour to be opaque. The last thing we need to do is cut some circles in yellow foam and add it to the upper sole and heels. I wanted to make a paralyzer gun just for extra detail, so I cut a base piece from layers of cardboard and built the shape up with craft foam. Like the shoes, I'm going to prime it in black first and then put the silver on the specific parts. Awesome. Phew, I think she's done at last. I learned so much from making Zero Suit Samus, like making a tight bodysuit and the complicated shoes. It was so detailed, but really fun. Hopefully it won't be too long until I can make a part 2 to this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you for another awesome doll repaint video. Bye!